I in Germany understand that Xabi Alonso will take over at Real Madrid.
Xabi Alonso walks back into the Santiago Bernabéu, not as a player this time, but as the manager. It feels like the beginning of something new, a new face on the sidelines, a new era.
He has in Leverkusen, of course, is more calm, it's not the pressure, they are a challenger. He's coming to Real Madrid and have to do it from day one.
After years under the calm, trusted leadership of Carlo Ancelotti, Real Madrid is turning the page. Eyebrow Man brought a lot of silverware, no doubt. He made history.
This is your fifth. Fantastic. I am a record man.
But through it all, there was always this quiet question. Is he getting outclassed tactically? Against Flick's Barcelona, the gaps began to show.
I think the matches against Real, they are unbelievable. So 4 matches, I give you 4 matches, okay? 4 matches against Real, so it's great.
Raising your eyebrow was patched. Real Madrid needed more than just experience. They needed a mind that could match the best tacticians in the world. And now they have one. Xabi Alonso is that mind. At Bayer Leverkusen, he didn't just win, he dominated. In a league that is always seen as a one-horse race, his team played beautiful football and destroyed the monopoly that Bayern Munich had on the Bundesliga. Every change Alonso made, every substitution, it felt like he was 5 steps ahead. And now Madrid hope that he can do the same, this time in a white shirt.
Has much to do with coach Xabi Alonso, a superstar as a player and now a top manager. A very special story.
But Alonso is more than just a tactician. Madrid fans aren't just excited to get him because he's a great manager. He's a symbol. He's a player who once wore the badge with pride. A Galactico who lifted trophies and earned the love of the Bernabéu faithful. Cause that crowd is tough to satisfy.
Why do fans boo him or whistle at him?
Because we are the most demanding fans in the world. We just want everybody to be the best players and the most committed.
Bad performances are booed. There are high expectations. So the fact that Alonso is so universally loved by them shows just how good he was. He knows the weight of the shirt. He knows what it means to win at Madrid. And now as the man in charge, he brings with him not just a brilliant football brain, but the heart of someone who's always understood what Real Madrid is about. You see, Alonso had a lasting impact on Real Madrid long before he ever made the decision of getting into coaching. When he arrived at the club in the summer of 2009, he wasn't just another signing. He was already a European champion, a player who had proven his worth on the biggest stage.
It's Xabi Alonso!
Because just 4 years earlier, he was part of that legendary Liverpool comeback in Istanbul, the night that they clawed their way back from 3-0 down in a Champions League final and lifted the trophy. How funny is it that long ago, Alonso and Ancelotti shared the same pitch? That night, Alonso broke Carlo Ancelotti's heart. He scored, and he showed that he had that clutch DNA that Madrid always craved.
I can't really explain how did it happen, but
at Liverpool, he was the maestro, calm under pressure, brilliant on the ball, and always 2 steps ahead. He became the first player in Premier League history to complete over 1,000 successful passes in a single season. And when the big moments came, Alonso always delivered, like when he scored the winning goal against Chelsea to give Liverpool their first away win at Stamford Bridge in years. He was the heartbeat of that Liverpool team. He was the one who dictated the play, kept the team ticking. Think about a better looking Toni Kroos with a red beard. That's what he was for Liverpool. So when he left, it hurt. Steven Gerrard, who was the captain, his midfield partner, was devastated. He even admitted that Alonso's departure threw him off.
oh, that's not on the telly.
Saying it was one of the reasons his own form dipped at the start of the next season.
When you left, it broke my heart. But you'll always have a special place at this football club and you're always welcome to come and visit.
That's the kind of player Alonso was. He wasn't just brilliant, he was genuinely irreplaceable.
In terms of the club, he would definitely be in the top 5 of the midfielders that we've had.
Yeah, he's just a game changer, a solid player.
So when he landed in Madrid, it wasn't just a normal signing. It was the arrival of a proven winner. A midfield general who knew how to lead, how to fight, and more importantly, how to win. Because remember, during this period, Real Madrid were struggling. They were looking to rebuild.
Therefore, of the night, an emphatic 5-0 aggregate win over Real Madrid.
As Barcelona were dominating, they had just won the treble. So Alonso was part of the Galactico summer. Him, Ronaldo, Kaká, Benzema, they were all brought in to elevate Real Madrid to the next level. How much do you guys think these four would cost in today's market? When players like Antony and Højlund are going for almost 100 million, I feel like these guys would have cost our country's entire GDP. The fact that Alonso was a Galactico is so important because that means he knows what it takes to win when all the pressure of the world is on your shoulders, and what it takes to win when you have a locker room filled with superstars and egos. Cause wherever you looked on that Madrid team, there was a world-class player somewhere seated. Alonso was given the number 22 shirt and went straight into the heart of midfield. Not just any role, he was the anchor, the deep-lying brain of the team. And from the very start, he was incredibly trusted. Cause in his first season, unless he was injured or suspended, he started every single match in both La Liga and the Champions League under Manuel Pellegrini. That's how important this guy was. That in a team with Ronaldo, Kaká, it was Redbeard that had to be on the pitch at all times.
If you can control the midfield, then you have more possibilities to win the match.
He scored his first goal for Madrid on February 21st, 2010, a calm penalty in a wild 6-2 win over Villarreal.
And he does get his first goal for Real Madrid.
Again, look at this guy. He was willing to take penalties in a team that had Cristiano Ronaldo. So if you're worried about him managing egos, don't be, because he was able to handle Ronaldo, a player with one of the biggest egos in football history. That season, Madrid finished with a club record 96 points, and yet it still wasn't enough to beat Barcelona. But Alonso had done something remarkable again. It was the third time in his career that he had helped a team break its all-time points record. He had done it before with Real Sociedad and Liverpool. But unfortunately for him, each time he helped do that, his team still finished second. But you couldn't deny his impact. He ended the season with 3 goals, but you don't need stats to see Alonso's impact. He was one of the most consistent and reliable players in the squad. And thankfully back then, people weren't stat merchants. They actually noticed. The readers of Marca voted him into their La Liga team of the season as the top defensive midfielder, alongside the only other Madrid player, Cristiano Ronaldo. ESPN also agreed, listing him as one of the best midfielders that year. Even La Liga itself took note, nominating him for the best midfielder alongside Xavi and Javi Martinez. And as the season went on, fans started calling him by his new nickname, La Barba Roja, the red beard. I just know women in Madrid couldn't wait to sit on his face. The nickname was a sign of affection, of admiration. His second season in Madrid began with a major change. Mourinho arrived as the new manager, bringing in with him a new energy and sky-high expectations. With Guti leaving the club, Alonso switched to the number 14 shirt, a number that he would make iconic. He didn't score any goals that season, but that didn't matter. His influence went way beyond the score sheet. He was the calm in the storm, the player Mourinho relied on to control games from the middle. And by the end of that year, Alonso had helped Real Madrid lift the Copa del Rey, his first trophy with the club. The following season started with fireworks. In the Spanish Super Cup against Barcelona, Alonso scored at the Santiago Bernabéu in a 2-2 draw. Then just a month later, he reached a milestone, his 100th appearance for Real Madrid. That season, the club finally did it though. They broke Barcelona's grip and won La Liga. For Alonso, that was actually the first league title of his career. Kinda crazy. The man won a World Cup, a Euros, and a Champions League before he won a league title. And I think what made Alonso stand out so much during that period was that he was always classy, which was rare, because Mourinho's Madrid was incredibly polarizing. Between Mourinho himself, Cristiano Ronaldo, Ramos, Pepe, you either loved them or hated them. There was no in between. But Alonso was one of the few guys on that team where he was universally loved. I don't know anybody that hates Xabi Alonso. Even Barca fans liked him because he didn't play with the intention to kill players like Pepe. He didn't trash talk like Mourinho or tell the entire stadium to calm down like Ronaldo. Now don't get it twisted, he still played tough. He fought for every loose ball. He wasn't afraid of putting in a crunching tackle. It's just he did it with humility and class.
Brillante, con talento interno, entendimiento del juego.
Now the other reason he probably wasn't hated, at least in Spain, was because he was part of the Spain national team that dominated everyone. He was there in 2008 under Luis Aragonés, winning the Euro. Then in 2010 he was at the heart of the midfield when Spain won the World Cup with Del Bosque. He continued playing on for another hour, which speaks to Alonso's mentality and competitiveness. He wasn't gonna walk off that pitch in a World Cup final unless he was being dragged out. But this is also what I mean. Alonso was a holding midfielder, but he wasn't some dirty player. Nobody remembers his fouls or what caused him to get a booking, except maybe the time he purposefully got a yellow per Mourinho's request. Alonso was remembered for his beautiful long balls and wonderful shot. His technique was flawless. You can even see him being levels above everyone else at Leverkusen when he joined in the training sessions. Then in 2012, he was still there with the Spain national team as they won the Euros again. Think about how stacked Spain's midfield was during that period. Xavi, Iniesta, David Silva, Busquets. There were so many good midfielders that some of these guys played on the wing. So many top players were never even selected, and yet there was Xabi Alonso, not just a part of the team, but one of the most important players. By 2014 at Madrid, he had become a true leader in the squad, and his manager at the time was the person he's replacing now, Carlo Ancelotti. That same year in the Champions League semi-final, Madrid stunned Bayern Munich with a 4-0 win in Munich, one of the most dominant European performances in club history, and Alonso was there the whole time. Unfortunately, he did get a yellow card which suspended him for the final, but he had played his part. Still, he was right there on the sidelines as Madrid made history, beating Atletico Madrid 4-1 in extra time to lift La Decima, their 10th Champions League title, the trophy they wanted the most when they got Alonso and all the other Galacticos in the summer of 2009. Alonso unfortunately couldn't play, but he had earned that medal. He was a part of the soul of that team. Just look at him sprinting when he knew that Madrid were going to become champion. After that, Alonso went to Bayern, where he learned more as he played under Pep Guardiola and under Ancelotti again one more time. What people forget is that even before Alonso joined Madrid, he was very familiar with the way La Liga works, because before he went to Liverpool, he was one of the most sought after talents in Spain. After rising through the youth systems at Real Sociedad, he quickly caught the eye of everyone. In his very first season with the reserve team, he helped them win their league, and because he was so good, it wasn't long before he made his senior debut. At just 18 years old, he was playing in a Copa del Rey match. After that, he was sent on loan to Eibar, where he developed in the second division of Spain. He returned as a player who had grown tremendously, and just in time because Real Sociedad was falling apart. By January of 2001, the team was at the bottom of La Liga, and that's when the new manager, John Toshak, made a bold decision. He gave the 20-year-old Alonso the captain's armband. It was unheard of, giving the captaincy to someone that young. But Toshak saw something special, and he was right. With Alonso leading the way, Sociedad climbed out of danger and finished the season in 14th place. He later said that Alonso's impact on the team was nothing short of extraordinary. Even that early on in his career, Alonso became the heart of the team. In the 2001-2002 season, he played 30 league games and scored 3 goals. Even when a new coach came in, Alonso's spot in the team was never in doubt. In the 2003 season, Sociedad shocked everyone. They pushed Real Madrid all the way in the title race and finished second, just 2 points behind. Remember, this was the Madrid team that was stacked with talent. It was Sociedad's best season since the early 80s, and a club record for points at the time. Alonso was the engine behind all of it. He had scored 12 goals, and he had earned the Don Balón Award for Best Spanish Player. It was those performances that earned him a call-up to the national team. It's funny, Real Madrid wanted him at this point, but they weren't willing to pay the £13 million price tag.
The first interest for Real Madrid, but the negotiations between the clubs, it took so long.
Now he's going to be managing their team. Funny how life works.